Hi everybody, this is Harmony with Harmony Stitches and welcome to my channel. Here we talk about my crafting journey, which usually revolves around cross stitch with some knitting and crochet thrown in. This week I don't have any knitting or crochet. I think I may have gotten a little discouraged with the sock knitting for summer sock camp. Nothing wrong with summer sock camp. I just picked a pattern that was a little difficult for me. I don't know why it was difficult, but so here we are with just some cross stitch. Today is the last day of my Patriotic stitching for the month of July, and I'm going to quickly show you kind of like a recap of what I've done this month, and then we'll get on with our Sunday. I am filming this video pretty early, but it seems like I have some pretty good light in here right now, so hopefully that'll be great for everybody. And so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, oops, I have these upside down. I think on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this past week, I worked on Liberty Eagle by Blackbird Designs. I was going to put another 3 days into this one, and I did. I actually ran out of DMC 801, which I am using for the Eagle's body. So I got started on something else. Okay, so it's wrinkly because I'm stitching in hand, but this is how far I've gotten. So I did finish the entire wing, which it was pretty intense. And then right here, I put in the very last strand that I had to work with, and that's the start of the head. And then so I started up here. There's like, it's like the eagle is screaming, you know, like I don't know what the correct term is for an eagle making noise, but this is coming out of his mouth and it's red, white, and blue. So I did get started. I chose 3866 for the white, and I believe it's in one of these projects. I'm using it for Memorial Day as well, so we'll get to that. But so far it's looking pretty good. I like it. It's not too bright, but I can see the stitches, and that was what was important to me. I believe this is a 28 count or a 30 count linen. It's a Zweigart base. It could just be a regular Zweigart linen that they have to offer, but it's a mystery color. A year and a half ago, I got a box, a medium priority box full of fabric from someone. They were giving it away, and I was a lucky recipient of that box, and this was in it. And I've used it for a couple projects now, but there was no tag on it, so I have no idea what color it is. But I think it's a 28 count. It could be a 30 count, but I figured between the two counts, it's really only 1 stitch per inch. So the piece that I had left over was plenty big enough to stitch it on. So I have about 4, well, on the top, it looks like I have more than 4 inches. On the bottom, I measured about 4 1/4. So I have plenty of border around here to do whatever it is that I want to do. And why I did that versus cutting it down to size is I figured whatever I was going to cut off of it, say if I wanted 2-inch border or 3-inch border all the way around, whatever I was cutting off was just going to be waste anyways. So this way I have a nice big border, and if I want to put it on a frame with a big border around the frame, then I can do so. It just depends on what frame I find. So it just gives me a little bit of options, because it would have been waste anyways, because it wouldn't have been big enough to stitch anything else on. So that is the end of Liberty Eagle. It's going to go on my whip wheel, so that way when I get back to my whip wheel, then that can come up in rotation. I'm just going to have to get some more 801 because I could stitch the border and some other things, but I'm not going to get much progress without 801. Okay, so then after I finished that, Thursday and Friday, I stitched on Stars and Stripes by the Prairie Schooler, and I'm working on the whale here. And I made some decent progress. Okay. I finished the whale, I finished the ocean and the border. I put in the flag. The only thing on the flag that needs to be done is the white stars need to be put in, and the flagpole and tassel, the cording, you know, because I don't know if you've ever been to a ceremony where they have flags, but most of them have a cord with a tassel that hang down, and this has that. I did forget to leave a stitch for the eye of the whale, so I do have to go back in, and I'm not going to rip it out. I'm just going to stitch over top of the brown that's already there, and then I have to back stitch sea to shining sea on top of the ocean, and it's done. So I would say within an hour, this block will be finished. And I didn't quite make it during the patriotic stitching for July, but I made some great progress because that block didn't exist before this month started, and I have an hour left to finish it. And so the next time that comes up in rotation, I will get great progress on block number 2 on that piece of fabric. Okay, so then, that one was stitched on 28 count Ivory Monaco with the called for DMC. I usually stitch Prairie Schooler with the called for DMC unless, like for black, she calls for, like in the Halloween charts, she uses the dark brown, what is it, 3771 or something like that, that really dark brown, and I don't like that color. And then there was another color, another brown and another color that or in a chart that I didn't like, and I switched that out. But generally speaking, the designer, I believe her name is Pam Bird, behind the Prairie Schooler, she does a fantastic job with color, and there's no need to change them, but every once in a while. Okay, so this one, I've shown you the picture a couple times. It is Seasons in Chalk, Stars and Stripes by Hands On Design. The original chalk artwork was from Priscilla Blaine, the Stitching with the Housewives. I put 6 days of stitching into this. This was a brand new start, so there was nothing done on this. And this is how far I got. And I think I showed you this last week. I just can't remember. This is 28 count black Monaco with the DMC conversion that's listed on the chart. So that's pretty good, considering this and the Liberty Eagle were both brand new stars, and I've got great progress on both. The reason why I was able to get more progress on the Liberty Eagle is because I took it to the hospital with me when my husband had his surgery this past Monday. He is doing well. We actually just got back from a mile walk. He said, would you like to go for a walk? And I said, if you think you can handle it, we'll go. And if at any time throughout you're like, oh no, I have to quit, then we'll quit. And we got through a mile, so he's doing well. But I was in the lobby waiting room for a long time. So I was able to get a lot of stitching done. So this one will go on the whip wheel as well. Stars and Stripes by the Prairie Schooler was already on there, but those other two will go on there next. Okay, and so this one is Memorial Day by Hands On Design. And I think I showed you this one last week as well, but we're doing a recap here. So this one is stitched on 28 count white Monaco. If you're kind of new here, you might gather that I like Monaco. I'm assuming that I like even weave, and that's why I like it. Once the Monaco is gone, then I'm going to try Lugana and Jobelin. But for now, I'm going to use Monaco. Some people think it's stiff and too thick, and I think that's what I like about it. But this is 28 count white Monaco with the called for DMC conversion listed on the chart. Last time I stitched on it, I focused on the flag, and I have a couple of more stripes to do on that flag, and then I'll move on to something else. This one I started on Memorial Day and got a pitiful 2 strands put in, and I'm excited that it actually looks like something now. So that's that. I have 2 more pieces to show. Lady of the Flag by Mirabilia. The picture's down there, but I'm sure you've seen it. Go look at my last video. I showed a progress update. I stitched 809 stitches on this in July, and this is the portion here that I stitched on. And I have some pretty good progress on this for the year. I started it on July 9th, 2022, so it's not even a year old yet. My goal was to have it done kind of by this time of the year because I wanted to get it framed up for my daughter, because this is actually going to be hers. It's stitched on 30 count linen by the Primitive Hare called We the People. It's printed on. It's not color fast, but that's okay. We're not going to wash it. I know some people do. We're doing a teal conversion because my daughter wanted to be like a personified Statue of Liberty, which I think that's kind of the intent, but she did hers in golds and whites when she designed it, and that's fine. But other than the teal conversion of it, I'm using all of the DMC floss that's called for. I will be using, I will be converting the beads over too, because the beads match the dress. So now I have to convert the beads, but I did get that from the person that converted it as well. So I will be able to just get what she purchased. So I'm excited about that. Like I said, I wanted to have it done around this time this year, and I really think that that was a doable goal if I didn't stitch on anything else. But also there's a lot of color changes, and I really don't like color changes. I like color blocks, blocks of color. I don't like confetti. And so, and I don't like the linen. It's what I call loosey-goosey linen. It's very thin and drapey. I like things like Monaco that's more stiff and firm, and you know, so it's a little bit of a challenge just because there's a couple of things that are not my favorite, but I am doing it for my daughter, and it will be done eventually, and then I can move on. And so I am excited about that piece. The very last one is the piece that I've been stitching on every single day this month. I have not put my stitches in it for today yet because it is pretty early, but I'm going to do that while we're watching church on YouTube. We're not going to church physically today, but we're going to watch it online. And that is Lady Liberty by Keslyn's. And I've been putting one strand in a day. I'm stitching this on 28 count Monaco, but I'm using one strand of floss over one linen thread. So the stitches are really tiny, and I am enjoying it actually. And so let's show you what I have through yesterday, and then just know that there's going to be a little bit more progress, and I will show you that progress next week. So here we are. I got the rows done between this row of stars and this row of stars. I finished this long piece. There's a little bit more that comes off of it right here to finish the top of the star. The star's not closed though, it's open, kind of like this one is. So the next strand that I put in might be over here, so that way this star can get in place. I'm not really sure yet. It would be really nice to close up here, but I don't know. Maybe I'll start way over here because it's a good counting spot. Because I did mess up in 2 spots because of counting. The great thing about it is no one's going to be able to tell, and it didn't affect the pattern at all because it's just the stars. So I am not, the floss used in this one is Gloriana silk. I'm not using that. I am using Classic Colorworks Blacksmith blue and ribbon red. I have through yesterday, I have officially used 1 skein of the Blacksmith blue, and I'm about halfway or more done with the blue, and I have 3 skeins left, so I'm going to have leftover. But the cool thing is it's going to go into my stash, and they go well together, the red and the blue. So if I have red left over, then I have it for future patriotic stitching. So there is that. So I'm excited about the progress that I got done on this, and I know that it doesn't look like much, but those stitches are super, super tiny, and every single week I'm putting in about 1,000 stitches. So since this is week 4 of July, right, week 4, there's at least 4,000 stitches done on this piece. And like I said, it doesn't look like much because we're used to our stitches being about 14 to 18 stitches per inch, and I have 28 stitches per inch. So they're tiny, but it's lovely. I'm really enjoying it. And like I said, if you've never done 1/1 stitching before, go ahead and give it a try. Don't be afraid of it. Just pick something really small, maybe a 1-color project, so that way you don't have to keep changing colors, because sometimes it can be hard to see the space where the stitches are supposed to go after you've already put in a different color. So try a monochromatic piece that's very small. Start there and then move up, and I think you will enjoy it greatly. Okay, the last thing that I have to show is, if you remember last week, I picked up this Liberty Games by Erica Michaels. This is my first Erica Michaels design, so I have some freebies in that she offered, but I haven't stitched any of them yet. And I am actually going to start this today as a new start for Patriotic Stitching, and also a lot of people start new things on their birthday, so I'm going to do that because today's my birthday. Friday night, I stopped by the cross stitch shop and looked for fabric, and I landed on, this is darker than the model, and I wanted it to be. This is Vintage Country Mocha, or, well, Colette at Stitchin' Time in Saginaw called it Country Mocha, but I don't know if that would, I don't know what it is, because I thought she wrote me up a little card that said what it was, but I can't find it, so I don't know if I lost it or left it there on accident, but I think this is Vintage Country Mocha, and it's by Zweigart, and it is printed, so the back is just all one color, and then it's modeled on the front. And we did pick out some flosses and we did that because I was deciding between a different piece of fabric and this piece, and so you pull the colors out and lay them on both and see what you like the best. And while the other piece that we pulled out was great, it was it like had an orange undertone, a peachy orange undertone, and it was subtle, but it was there. And where this one was more antique-y brown, in which I wanted. So like I said, it is a bit darker than the model stitch. The model stitch is on Picture This plus vellum, which she had a piece that probably would be big enough, but I didn't like that the white color, there's white stitching on there and it's kind of blending in. I don't want my stitches to blend in. If I'm taking the time and the effort and the money, and floss costs money, into doing it, I want it to be able to show. So I'll show you what we picked out so far. And I think the rest of it is going to be DMC, unless I choose to get the overdyed floss for the Liberty Bell. So I've got Battleship, and that will be the blue of the letters and all of the other blue in the chart. I've got Lancaster Red, Turkish Red, and Molasses. And let me see if I can then turn this around and hold it up for you. And these looked really great on both fabrics, but I liked it better on this one. So there's two different reds. She uses them throughout. So she called for raspberry for this big flag, and I think this flag here too. And Colette says raspberry is pink. So we went and looked, and sure enough, you could tell that it was like a plummy pink color. And I said, no. And so we pulled a couple others, and we both landed on Lancaster Red for that one. The Turkish Red is for the big, it's the house, but I'm sure it's got a name. The chart is cool because it actually gives you some historical background for some of the things in the chart. Let me see if I can find it really quickly, because there's a lot in here. No, it doesn't say, but that's okay. You guys know what the house is, right? I just can't think of it right now. Where is it? Right here. So that is the Turkish Red. The red coats on the British Army are red. And I think most of the other red is will be the Lancaster. And like I said, if I get any more overdyed, it will be for the Liberty Bell. And it's two colors of gray, the inside, and then it has a border all the way around it, you know, like an outline. So there's two grays. I would do the inside of the bell, overdyed. Okay. So I'm really excited to start this today. I'm going to start with the word, I start in the bottom right corner. So I'm going to start with the word independence and see if I can get independence done. But I have to do Lady Liberty first to get that done and take it off the Q-snap, because it's going to go on my whip rotation now. So it will not stay on the Q-snap, because that Q-snap doesn't fit in that bag. So see how it's sticking out? And I don't want it to get dirty. So I've been careful with it thus far, sitting it up so it's not touching anything. But since it's not going to be worked on a day-to-day basis, I'm going to take it off the Q-snap and stick it in the bag to keep it safe and clean. So I'm going to stitch on that. Then I'm going to stitch on this for the rest of the day. And then starting tomorrow, there's a brand new Travel the USA challenge in the cross stitch group. And my focus piece for the challenge is Lady of the Flag. So by the end of the month, I should have more stitches on Lady of the Flag. And we'll see how far we have to travel. Okay, that's all I have to share with you this particular video. My sister and I did do the middle of the mitten yarn crawl yesterday on July 30th. It runs until this coming Saturday, August 6th. So if you haven't had a chance to go yet, there's still time. I do know that the store in Midland ran out of passport. So if you want a passport, then you have to go call around and see what store has one and go have them set one aside for you and go there first, because you want your if you're going to do it and you want a passport, get your passport. But I'm going to film that completely separate for two reasons. I have a lot of information to share about the yarn crawl, and also my phone is now not accepting videos kind of over 17 minutes. So I can't talk to you about that and talk to you about the cross stitching at the same time. So I'm going to do a bonus cut video for the yarn crawl. And to me, as a content creator for you, that makes sense. That makes more sense for me and how I have to do things. So for this particular video, that's all I have to share with you. But I hope that you have a great week and you found some inspiration and you were, to pick up a languishing whip, or maybe to try something new, maybe 1/1 stitching. And until next time, bye.